discussion. And I'm really pleased to have Kate's presentation just prior to this one, because what a beautiful lead-in. Thank you. Kate got you to think about some particular things that, in fact, I'm going to give you the formulas for, so you can actually put some pen to paper. This session today is not about sitting and falling asleep at the table. Indeed, you will be putting your pens to paper and doing some work. Your employers will get value for money out of you being here today, I guarantee. And aren't we lucky to be here sharing this beautiful land with our traditional owners? I'd just like to pay my respects to them, past and present. Now, this is going to be kind of weird, isn't it, going backward and forward like that? And gee, that looks pasty, but didn't look that pasty on my computer screen. So I'm happy to have this presentation shared with you. So you'll have not only the slides that you'll see up there, I've also given you a handout, and that's essentially what I'm going to walk you through today. I'm interested, who in the room is from a disability service? Anyone not from a disability service? No? Thank you. Just the one. Thank you. And yourself. For those of you who are from a disability service, who's here with more than one person from that same disability service? Cool. Just be good if you can speak together. Hey, whenever you go into any kind of session like this, we all go to forums and seminars and conferences and what have you. I recommend to you that you need to go with a very clear purpose in mind. Begin with the end in mind. What do you want to get out of this session? So your first task today is to stand up, because apparently we're all going to die early because we sit too much. So please stand up, talk to the person next to you about the one thing that, if you could get one thing out of today's session, what would it be that would make coming here today worthwhile? Off you go. You've got 2 minutes. I can go on for hours about this presentation, but I want to be really clear what it is that you want from me. So I'm going to ask this table first, because you're at the front. Just give me something that I can pop up here, just one thing that would be useful for you.
How do I fit into the world of NDIS?
Yeah. Thank you. You guys?
In a competitive market, how do we still interact and share with each other?
Okay. Collaborate.
How do we make NGOs profitable?
Profitable, yes, thank you. And right up the back? The same? Sustainable, yes. Middle table, something from there?
For us, I guess, for me, it's about where the psychosocial stuff's going to fit in NDIS. There's still no confusion around that.
Yes. Yes. Not sure I know how to answer that one. Thank you. Yeah?
For me, thinking about the NDIS and getting ready for it, and if I can get one thing today that I might have missed or that I haven't thought about.
Yep. Yep. And yourself?
How would the non-companies get ready for the NDIS?
Sure. Okay. And what about yourself, Kate? Okay, so I'm going to park these and we're going to come back to these at the end of the session. I'm going to do my best to embed some responses to that into the presentation, but of course there'll be stuff that I'm not going to be able to cover, and I'm really keen to speak with you about that. So please catch me either after the session or indeed give me a bell and let's have a chat about it. Beautiful. NDIS readiness tool, you've all seen that, no doubt, and you'll see clients and market focus is number 3. That's going to be the focus of my presentation today, but really everything all intertwined, so I will be going through some of the other things as well. Can I get you to all sit up straight first of all? My gosh, people, where's your posture? Beautiful posture so you can breathe, let the oxygen in so you don't fall asleep, remember? Beautiful posture. Okay, arms, fold them over in your comfortable place. Now, once you've fold them in the uncomfortable way. However that is. Can you work it out? Okay, so just sit there with them folded uncomfortable for a minute. Because the thing is, what I'm about to share with you, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. It is. Because I've had the privilege of working in both camps, stay folded. 2 camps. The not-for-profit government sector, both those sort of camp, and the making money sector. And wow, they're different. Really different. And guess which way you guys are heading? Needing to bring some of that stuff, that for-profit mentality in terms of the business operations into the way that you operate. And that feels a little uncomfortable for everyone, doesn't it? I know that it does. But you know what? It's not all bad. It's not all bad. What I'm going to introduce to you today is some of the jargon that they use. Is in a business model, in a competitive business model, if you want to get anywhere, marketing must be at the core of what you do. It's not something you add on at the end. It's not the one little bit that you add on, that you tack on to your strategic plan. You actually start planning with that as your base. A bit scary, I know. But once we go through today's elements, you'll understand why I'm saying that. Marketing's not about a brochure. It's much more complicated than that, much more, not complicated, complex than that. So here's how I see the NDIS in action. You have to become a competitive organisation because your fish are no longer stuck in the bowl. They can fly. They can jump whenever they choose. If you're not asking your current customers what they actually want in the brave new world, you better get onto it. No point having a service they actually don't want. And if you don't already know where your existing customers fall in those bands, yeah, because there's multiple bands and then inside the band they might be at the bottom of the band or the top of the band or somewhere in between, how are you going to do your cost figures? Because let's get real, people, we're talking about dollars and we've got to get it right. So there is some work to be done around your ideal customers. Does that make sense? Does that sound fair? Okay, on the to-do list then. Righto, I'm just conscious of time. I don't want to be somewhere stuck in the middle and nowhere near the end. What are your products? Well, at the very least, you'd want to be asking your clients, you say, what do you actually want? This is all about flexibility. But I want to tell you a story. There's a picture of a barbecue up there. I went to Bunnings the other day. It was my brother's birthday. And all the siblings and the family, etc., we all throw in money and, yep, we'll all agree to get this one thing. We said, let's get him a barbecue. Went to Bunnings. Talking to this guy, the sales dude, about the various barbecues, what's good about this one, what's good about that one, why is that this price and this one's way much more than that one, why is that? Oh, okay, I'm getting the lowdown on the value, this one retains the heat a lot better, this is only made of that, this has got double layers. I've got the lowdown on the barbecue, I'm leaning towards the more expensive barbecue. And then I thought, well, actually he doesn't have that many barbecues. Maybe he doesn't need that anyway. What does he actually need? Well, probably he doesn't need that. And the guy said, well, whichever one you choose, you're probably going to choose one of these two, really. I said, well, which one's the best seller? Oh, that'll be this one over here. Okay. I go way over here to the best seller. What's so great about this? He starts telling me about why this is the best seller. It's the best thing since sliced bread. And he said, well, this is absolutely the best seller, but the worst seller, the one that doesn't even move, well, that's over there. Oh. The worst seller, thanks for telling me about that one. Why doesn't it move? Now, it was kind of something like that. There's this little mobile barbecue thing. You've got to put a little propane pack in it. I said, well, he said, yeah, look, I don't even know why we stock it. Why is that? I'm curious. He said, well, because you've got to put this propane pack in it and we don't even sell those. We actually have to refer the customer down the road to our competitor to buy the propane pack. So they often don't buy the barbecue here because they can buy the barbecue down there with the propane pack at our competitors. Package deal. No brainer. This is the sort of stuff in terms of products. Not only do you have to get the product right, you've got to get the package right. Does this make sense? Yep. Don't offer half the package. You're leaking your customers. That's what the bucket with the leaky holes in. Leaking customers. Now, you can leak customers because your customer service isn't so good, but you can leak customers because you don't have the products they want, or you don't have the package that works for them. So being able to do a good, better, best type model of packaging of your products, have you heard of that before, good, better, best? So good, better, best means you don't just, when someone comes to you and they say, okay, looking for a service, this is what I'm looking for, you don't just go, well, here it is and here's the price. What about you offer them, well, we could give you this and, you know, da-da-da-da. Or we could add fries with that and you could get this. Or we could add fries and a very healthy drink of water with that, and you can get the best. Good, better, best. Do you know what? Most people will go for better. Most. There's only 7% of people actually decide on price. Now we know from the UK experiences with NDIS type style stuff that it became quite commoditised, is what I understand. I would suggest to you that if your customers don't know you, if you've got new customers, you're trying to attract new customers, they come to you and all they know is that they're comparing apples and apples, and all the only information they've got is price. You are becoming a commoditised market, and it's lose-lose every way you look at it. Well, you guys need to get better at packaging what you offer and putting it into good, better, best models by value adding all those additional things that you could possibly add that is of value to your customer, that is of little value to you, or cost to you is what I mean by that. Little cost to you. Stuff that you can actually repeat on a regular basis, give to lots of your customers that cost you very little. Now, what those things are, well, you guys will need to determine that from your clientele, but you'll very quickly come up with them once you're in the mix of this frame of thinking. You're going to be better at it than I am. But let me give you some ideas, for example, from the way the rest of the world works. It's things like on your website, you might have something they can download. You guys have a perfect opportunity right now. You have existing customers. Ask them what they might like in their ideal world. Okay, let's move on. How people buy. People buy value. What's valuable? An outcome. That's what's valuable to people. Solve my problem is the thinking. Now, in fact, the problem is going to be, at the end of the day, no matter which way you look at it, no matter who you're talking about, it always comes down to either increase my pleasure or decrease my pain. You can psychoanalyse that as much as you like, but that's what it always comes down to. Every decision we make is based on, is it going to bring me pleasure or is it going to bring me pain, and which one's more powerful? What we know is that pain seems to be, the avoidance of pain is a bigger driver of taking any action than gaining any pleasure. Think about it this way. Would you go to more effort to save your money or to stop someone stealing it? Get where I'm coming from? Okay. So 4 key drivers of buying decision for anything, and how you apply this from a disability service perspective, do this at your will. Make my life easier. Lower my costs or increase my profits. What that might mean is make sure this doesn't cost me the earth. I've only got this much money to spend. Thank you for my insurance allocation. Increase my profits is like increase my benefits. Okay, increase the value that I get from it. Lower my risks. Now that might be risk of missing out. Okay, it doesn't mean risk of injuring myself. Lower my risks of whatever is painful to them. Does that make sense? Yep. And increase my competitive edge. That could be any number of things. And it doesn't necessarily mean from a financial perspective, and it doesn't necessarily mean from a sport perspective. It's whatever's relevant to them. Now, not all of these is relevant at any one time. It depends on the individual of what's most important to them. So I want you to think about your current customers and their pain. And you'll understand why this is important in a minute. But please, if you could, put yourself in your customer's shoes and think about the services that you're offering and what pain that drives those individuals to want to purchase those services from you. Write it down. This is crucial. Write this down. What is the pain they're experiencing that they're trying to avoid by purchasing your services? things. Can I maybe go to the middle table because I hit you guys first up last time? What did you come up with?
Happy with my knowledge. Isolation, disempowerment, joblessness, homelessness, physical harm, exploitation, sexual abuse, devalued role and boredom.
Fantastic.
And I went being dependent on others.
Yeah, gosh, that kind of covers, does that cover everything, everyone? Wow, well done, gold star. Fantastic. Now, if you were going to put those into the words of your customers, they'd have a whole story that goes to each one of those things, right? Yeah. But absolutely, these are the pains that they're experiencing, so, or are trying to avoid with all their might. So what? So you need to be able to use them. Remember, Kate was talking about our language is unique selling points. The taxi driver test. Here's where the taxi driver test comes in, and indeed the next slide, which talks about your elevator pitch. What makes you unique? Okay, it's a competitive market. You know that these are the pain points of your customers. If you're not using that language towards them about your service, you're wasting your time. You'll be commoditised on price. So, why would I buy from you instead of someone else? It's going to be because not only do you have the right price, not the right price, but you have the right package, the right product, and you sell it to me in a way that is meaningful and valuable to me. You can do the taxi driver test, you've got the words, and not just the person at the front desk who's selling me the package, but every single person in your organisation. When they meet someone at a barbecue, it spills out of their mouth. Hi, what's your name? What do you do? And out it goes. Yes? Because it needs to ooze, it needs to be the essence of what it is you're all about. Can I just get you all to stand up for a moment? Up we go. Big deep breath. Now, not in a whispery, quiet voice and not in a yelling voice, but with a raised voice, when I count on 3, can I get you to all say the name of the organisation you work for? 1, 2, 3. Did anyone stand out? It is a noisy market, and that's what it sounds like to every one of your customers when they're shopping for a service. It sounds just like that. Blah, blah, blah. No one stands out unless you can hit their pain points with a beautifully articulated sales pitch. Yes? Take a seat, get comfy.
Unless you get the last word in.
Okay. So, right, what do I need to do here? Unique sales points. I'm just going to actually go to the next slide and we're going to go back to unique sales point. Elevator pitch is where you start. This is the structure. Remember I told you I'd give you the formula. Here is the formula for an elevator pitch. We show, assist, work with, help, support, whatever language you want to put on there, empower. Insert your ideal client name, whatever this is, particular target group, whoever that is. 2, insert the outcome, whatever it is you want them to achieve, based on what you know they want. It's important to them. By doing this, that, the other. These are the products, services, what have you, that we offer. And then inevitably what happens is someone will say, oh, and how do you do that? Or how long have you been doing that? Or the conversation rolls from there, and that's when you start talking about your unique sales points. I'll give you an example. Actually, no, hang on, I'm going to come back. So, in terms of your unique sales pitch, what then comes under there is you would pick 2 key drivers of decision. Make my life easier. Yes, reduce my risks, what have you. You'd pick maybe 2 of those, identify what the issues are, and then from there, you talk about what it is that makes you unique by combining what you actually do. So it's not about saying, oh, here's the thing. If I said to you, oh, why would I buy from you from someone else? Why are you better than the others? This is what I often get. It'll be, oh, you know, we've been in the business for 25 years and all our staff are really highly trained and they're really committed to making a difference. That's what every single one of you would say. Oh, they're really highly skilled, or... Do you hear what I'm saying? Does that sound like you've heard that before? Yeah, that's not standing out in the crowd. That's the blah, 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 blah. And then from there, it's about identifying what makes you unique. Think about 2 to 3 key things that you do that when you combine them together, it makes you unique. An introduction for you. I don't expect you to go, yeah, there it is, bang, fantastic, let's print it. There's some work to be done around this to really get it right. But the value in being able to do that taxi driver test and allow it to just spill out, you can't measure it. Okay, the other important thing in a competitive market, girls and boys, is how easy are you to buy? And the thing is, when someone comes to you, a new client, not an existing client, they've already, developed a relationship, they know how cool you are, whatever. Brand new client, never seen you before, might have seen your logo somewhere. Find out they come in, they're here, they're interested in buying a service from you. How easy do you make it for them to buy your services? Now, I'd say to you, how quickly can you get a package together and have it priced up and get back to them? Because the days of, that taking a couple of weeks, hey, well and truly over. No way. First in. You want to be first in. And if you can sell it to them right there on the spot, sign here, fantastic. Now, this isn't about trying to deal with your customers. Can I just put that out there? You know that uncomfortable thing, that sales uncomfortable thing? But if they do not know you, if you only know the price, then they know that's what I'm so, confidence, that's about trust. How can you bring people into your world so that they get the opportunity to get to know you before they buy? Thank you. The idea with all of this sales and marketing things, you need to bring people into your world. And how do you do that? Well, it's challenging to think about some of the times when you've purchased. You may not have just deliberately gone in, bought a service, bang, done. It may be that you've seen their logo somewhere, then you've seen a commercial, or maybe you went onto their website and then you read up on their website and they had a video on there and you watched the video and oh, wow, they're really cool. They had an ebook, so you downloaded the ebook. Oh, you happen to have given them your email address and now they start communicating with you on a regular basis and they've sent you something that's really cool because they know something about you. You're interested in something and so suddenly they start sending you stuff about that stuff that you're really, really interested in. Fantastic. Or maybe you went along to a come and try. Thank you. Etc., etc., etc. You need to create opportunities to build trust, build rapport. Don't think someone comes in, I'm going to sell to them then. Think someone comes in, I'm going to get them in and bring them into our family. Give them the opportunity to get to know us and then they'll buy. Does that make sense? There's a whole bunch of system stuff you've got to have in place so everything is itemised and unit priced so that you can put a package together there on the spot, done, bang, here you go. Don't delay. That's all I'm going to say about how people buy. Question 4, critical numbers. Now, I'd love to spend time going over critical numbers, but there's no way we could do that today. That's a whole session on its own. But if you don't know what the average purchase order value is of each individual client, you better start figuring that stuff out. Now, most of you will have a finance manager, officer, somebody who will be doing these figures for you, but you guys need to be across it. Industry trends, you're already across that. You know what's coming, but you need to keep a watching brief on those trial sites and understand what works and what doesn't. From a customer perspective, what is it they actually want? Who are your competitors? It's important to have some idea about what they're up to. But don't spend too much time on that. It's more important that you know what you're up to. We talked about collaborators up here wanting to know, well, how do you still collaborate on projects? Well, you absolutely do, but you go in with a very clear intent, and you need to be open and honest about what products you're having, what products you're offering, what products your partner is offering, and you have legal agreements around this.